Hello, my name is Rodrigo Martinez. You are on The Voice of Middle East. Thank you for joining us this Sunday night of October 23rd. And remember that The Voice of Middle East is a space open to criticism and analysis of the changes that have emerged in the Middle East. Well, in this night, we will bring you the latest events in Tunisia as part of the celebration of its first democratic elections after the overthrow of dictator Ben Ali. That was given more or less on January 14, 2011. But let's take a quick look of the events in recent months through the voice of the people who are in the midst of this transition, the Tunisian population, who is living every day this political, intellectual, and social transformation. Well, in recent years, it has increased the discontent of the people by the government of Ben Ali in all Tunisia, and there have been a lot of demonstrations. But well, we have for you two interviews. They are very interesting, and we will hear these interviews that were conducted in January by our reporter, Rogelio Estrada. But well, let's hear the first interview. This interview was made to a Tunisian student who showed us one side of the struggle for change. This interview was made a student of Tunisia University. Her name is Deborah Hasbon. Let's hear the interview. Hello, Deborah.
Hello, Rogelio.
Well, as we know, you have been protesting for the improvement of the situation of Tunisia. Can you tell us a little bit of what encouraged you to be against the government of Ben Ali?
Well, of course, I think we are tired, about the poverty, about the justice, and maybe that's the first thing. And of course, like a young people, and I'm studying in the university, so this thing about I know when I finish the school, my students, I'm gonna be without work and without a good opportunity for my future. So if you have a future and it's really black for you, you have maybe the balls, for fight against what is really wrong in your country, like the government of Ben Ali.
So you said that you are against the lack of opportunity after leaving school. That's a good point. But now I have another question for you.
Tell me.
How is that you realized that the Tunisian government needed a change?
Well, of course, we have a few keys about this question. So let me tell you. The internet, of course, is really important. But the other thing is the internet without something like WikiLeaks will be nothing, So through WikiLeaks, we find out a lot of things that we ignored before, we didn't know about the corruption of our government. So through WikiLeaks, we find out a lot of things. So yeah, WikiLeaks was really, really important in this thing.
So now that you mentioned the internet and the importance of the social networks, can you tell us what is the role of the internet in this movement?
Well, I think it's pretty important, because even these things get international level now. For example, Anonymous, this group of internet surfers, they are in favor of freedom of expression. Well, this is pretty important for us. And the other things like Twitter and Facebook are like a tools for us because it's easy, to get a meeting and make the information, like spread the information around the world. So it's pretty important.
Okay, but can you tell us about what other sectors of the population have expressed their support for these protests?
Yes, of course. The General Union of Tunisian Workers is pretty important. Let me tell us, like for us, for the young people, we learn for them. And now we have a structure pretty organized, and that's what's thank of them. And the other thing, and it's really, really important, it's the army. Because general, the army fight against the people who is fighting against the government. But here we have the army with us, and even the chief of the army make a demand to the resignation of Ben Ali. So if we have the army with us, this is something amazing.
Okay, well, Deborah, thank you very much for this interview. I appreciate you take the time to give us your opinion, and I hope these changes will affect the policy of Tunisia.
Yeah, we hope so too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deborah. Well, now we are with the leader Muslim woman. Her name is Alejandra Rajal. And as we know, Tunisia is a Muslim country that has more opportunities to women compared with other Muslim countries. And here in Tunisia, women are more actively participating in the demonstration and they are very involved in this huge movement. But well, let's talk with this girl. Hello Alejandra.
Hello, Rogelio.
Ale, can you tell us about what role Islam is playing in this conflict?
Hi. Our religion, Islam, has become a unifying element among all Tunisians who reject the Ben Ali government. We are also aware of the strength of our party has to establish itself as one of the most important. While the mandate is given and the democratic transition is growing with the legalization of opposition political parties, that is a good way to give voice to those who were represented for so long and who practice his faith.
Okay, Ale, that's very interesting, and well, I hope this will make a change. But now tell me, what is the relationship between Islam and the emulations that have occurred in recent days by protesters?
The emulation was as a response to humiliation oppression of the people who is abused by authorities. All I can say is that this action will not on. Our religion gives up to know that even though there is destination, although we have free will, even though you have the freedom to decide what to do in your life, you must fulfill the will of Allah, hear our good, and so He knows what He does.
Well, now we are with the leader Muslim woman. Her name, Ale, tell me, finally, what kind of political parties respond to the changing needs of the Tunisian population?
Those who really are concerned about what happens around the provinces, not only in the center of the country, because that's really where the revolution began. Leaving the interest of regions is not going to demine ideas that could solve our problem. But I feel it will be difficult to achieve democracy as such, because democracy has never been practiced here and the people need to do more awareness. Fortunately, each time I find more people concerned about the political change of his country, because ultimately that is the answer. We have to take part of this movement to make a real change.
Yes, that's the point, to make a real change, Ale. But well, Ale, thank you very much. I really appreciate you give us the time for this interview. Thank you very much, Ale.
Thank you.
Well, after these interviews, well, we can say that what is happening recently in Tunisia responds to a process occurring since last January, when the interviews were made. But now, well, I wonder if the Tunisian population is ready for this change of implementation of democracy. But, well, let's think what elements are needed for strengthening to build a political culture that allows to implement this democracy. Because, well, as we can see in the Tunisian people, there is a lack of political culture. But, well, we're probably talking about one of the most watched elections in history of the democracies. They have been summed to 7.2 million Tunisians who will elect their representatives in the Constituent Assembly. And the number of competing parties and candidates makes the situation a little more complex. But, well, I don't know. The parties in the contention are the Islamic Party, and the Democratic Progressive Etakatol, which is a member of the Socialist International. But well, we can also mention the ex-communist Etatdit and the Workers' Communist Party of Tunisia, which was repressed during the dictatorship of Ben Ali. But well, among these campaign promises, the most frequently is the establishment of a higher status of Tunisian women. This can be perceived to be accepted of the both sexes partly in the electoral list. Well, but apparently the favorite candidate is Rachid Ghannouchi, who is the leader of the Tunisian Islamist movement. But well, it is important to mention that he was on exile for 20 years by the repression of the regime of Ben Ali. And well, it is important to mention that Ghannouchi returned from London this January 30, when the political transformation were taking place in the country. And well, we will follow all this process of election that will shape the political future of Tunisia. This was all for now, and tomorrow we will discuss the results of the elections. And tomorrow we will wait for your attendance. I hope you enjoyed this program, open to analysis of Middle East. Thank you for joining us this night. My name is Rodrigo Martinez. You are listening to Middle East.